He is Cody, and he is about to go through a somewhat strange stage of puberty that you would never expect. But let's not ruin the twist. Let's get to know the boy a little. At 12 years old, he is the best swimmer in the school. He has more agility and speed than the others, who have been in the discipline for years. Despite spending several hours a day in the pool and drinking liters and liters of water every day, Cody is always thirsty, so he's starting to think he might have a problem. Additionally, when a few days go by without going to the pool, his body develops strange rashes that, if you ask me, are worthy of an alien. But before continuing with the story, let's make some sense of it. 11 years ago, a fisherman named John Wheatley fell asleep waiting to catch something. Suddenly, a chant woke him up, and in the distance, he saw a strange fin. Determined to catch the prey, he followed it along the coast. This creature turned out to be a mermaid carrying her baby in her arms. She placed the baby in John's boat without him noticing, then disappeared. While John was chasing her, she appeared near the shore and waved at him. Clearly impacted by what he has seen, John takes his eyes off the coast and crashes into the rocks. Nearby, Whit and his wife Sharon heard the cry of a baby. They found the child, but there was no sign of anyone else, so they took him and named him Cody. Without any knowledge of his origin, Cody grew up as a normal boy. Besides his love for water and swimming competitions, he did not stand out or attract attention in any way. Meanwhile, John spent the following years of his life claiming he saw a mermaid, but no one believed him. Back to Cody. Being a swimming champion makes you popular at school. You even get a girlfriend, a young woman named Sam, but being a good swimmer doesn't guarantee you have brains. Cody fails all his exams, and it seems that his academic future is not very bright. For the final project that could save him from repeating the year, Cody decides to team up with Jess, a clearly nerdy guy who knows everything about everything. If that doesn't guarantee him enough, then he's lost. However, that doesn't mean they'll be friends. In fact, Cody leaves him hanging and goes to his swimming class. Then, on his birthday, his mother has made a special cake, but Cody barely tastes it that morning. He can only think about water. The birthday party continues, but Cody spends much of the time in the house drinking water non-stop. His mother tells him that he's at the age of puberty. Strange things happen to kids at that stage, so he shouldn't worry. That night, Cody dreams of swimming in the ocean alongside a mermaid. The next morning, he wakes to the sound of the alarm clock, but when he touches it to turn it off, bolts of electricity shoot from his hand. Ignoring the strangeness of the situation, he goes down for breakfast and then meets with Jess to start the project. Jess isn't dumb. He knows Cody is just using him, so he offers to do all the work. But only if Cody teaches him to swim. The boy agrees right away, but as soon as he touches G's hand, he feels something strange and sees scales on his palms. G gets scared and says he should see a doctor. That's not normal. Jess's fear transfers to Cody, who runs home to lock himself in his room. There he realizes the scales have grown and appeared elsewhere. Before panicking, he dries his hands and takes a deep breath. This makes the scales disappear, but the thirst returns immediately. The next day, Jess tells him she studied all night to find an explanation for the scales. But Cody says that won't be necessary, as the scales disappeared and everything is fine. That afternoon they meet at Jesse's house. We discovered that John is his father, who has turned his garage into a place full of things to hunt mermaids. After the strange moment with Jesse's father, the boys go to his room to work on the project. In the following days, Cody's thirst becomes almost irresistible. The boy sneaks out in the middle of class to press his mouth to the water fountain for several minutes. He is consuming more water than he weighs, and that is extremely strange. At home, the boy tells his parents his problems, and which suggests a doctor, but Darren refuses. She doesn't believe in modern medicine, and for her, doctors are quacks in lab coats. So Cody stays at home, forced to obey his parents. That night he has a date with Sam, who takes his hand, but 1 hour later, her hair stands up from the static. Afraid of electrocuting his girlfriend, Cody pulls away. That night at home, Cody has a nightmare. When his parents come to see what's happening, the boy is stuck to the ceiling like Spider-Man. Now it's clear that it's not puberty. They call the doctor immediately, but it seems his mother was right. This doctor is a quack and is not helpful. Cody decided to ask Jesse for help. He's the smartest guy he knows and needs to find out what's happening before it becomes a serious problem. Josie takes him to the beach. When Cody comes into contact with salt water, scales appear and allow him to take a sample. Then, Jesse takes him to his house and shows him an aquarium. He wants to know if he can command the fish, and to everyone's surprise, Cody makes one jump out of the pot. Later, he holds a light bulb, and it lights up on its own. This is already too strange, and it always happens to him when he's near water. So for now, Jesse advises him to stay away from water, but saying it is easier than doing it. Cody drinks enough water every day to shower in it. Also, state competitions are near and being away from the water would be nearly impossible. One night, Joey finds his son in his workshop and tells him about mermaids and how he once saw one. Since then, he's been obsessed with finding her and has studied everything about that. In one of the books, Jesse sees the same scales that Cody has, as well as what will happen to his body as he matures. This maturity begins at age 13, and after a while, one of the parts prevails. Mostly, the mermaid part prevails and changes accelerate until the transformation is complete. The next morning, Jesse tells Cody about this and he refuses to believe that he is a merman. But the evidence is there. The electricity coming from his fingers is similar to that of an eel. At home, Cody asks his parents about his origins. He knows he's adopted but wants to know where he's from. There he confesses to them what is happening to him, and since they are his parents, they can't say he's crazy, but they think it. At that moment, Cody puts his hands in the water and shows them the bed stations that suddenly appear. Seeing this, they tell him about the shape they found in a destroyed boat. No one reported a missing baby, so they decided to keep it. Sharon, who is a supporter of conspiracies, believes that if they tell anyone about this, her son will end up in a government facility being used in experiments. His father, on the other hand, advises him that if water triggers the changes, he should stay away from it. The first thing will be to quit the swim team. But the next day, Cody is at the beach and the urge to swim is irresistible. So he dives into the water and realizes he doesn't need to hold his breath. He can stay underwater as long as he wants and is faster than before. Nearby, we see his mother, who sensed when her son entered the water and came to greet him. But by the time she arrived, Cody had already left the sea. On the sand, Cody notices his hands have changed, with webbing and almost fins. Sam appears, and Cody must bury his hands in the sand to hide them. He then shoos her away and runs to Jesse to show him what's happening. These changes are much greater. It's clear Cody can't compete. If this happens in front of thousands of people, he will surely have serious problems and his mother's fear will come true. Despite the warnings, Cody decides to be the rebellious kid and attends the competition. At the end of the race, he ends up winning, but while celebrating, everyone can see his fins coming out of his forearms, including John, who is finally sure he has found another mermaid after so many years. Frightened by the people, Cody tries to leave and touches a metal pipe that distributes the electricity from his body throughout the gym and causes a short circuit in the scoreboard. This activates the fire alarm and everyone runs out, allowing Cody to hide in the bathrooms and escape through the back door just in time when his parents showed up and were able to take him home. There, Cody's arms have almost completely transformed, and Jesse appears to tell him he's a fool for risking it all just for a plastic trophy. Sam appears and upon seeing Cody's arms faints. Then she leaves frightened and tells him not to look for her again. At school, Sean, who came in second place to Kusako, must have cheated. Everyone saw what he had on his arms. He's either a monster or a cheetah. Seeing that Sam sides with Sean, Cody runs away upset and doesn't return home that night. Instead, he jumps into the sea and swims to the depths, where he meets his mother, who greets him excitedly. The only bad thing about this encounter is that John had been following him and saw them together. Now he has confirmation that he's not crazy. Cody escapes that night. The next day, he asks Sam to meet him at the beach and tells her everything, even walking into the water to show her he's a merman and can communicate with his mother, who appears right in front. While Sam looks at the real mermaid in front of her, Cody falls to the ground and complains of severe pain in his abdomen. At John's house, Jesse finds him making a giant net for mermaids with all his gear on board. Scared for his friend, he runs to warn him, but Cody has other problems. The final phase of his transformation is approaching and his legs are turning into a tail. Unfortunately for him, he turned into sand and can't crawl to the sea. So John finds him and plans to use him as bait to catch his mother. You already have a merman. With that you get rich and make history. Why do you need the mother? But well, let's not seek logic and continue with the story. Jesse gets on his father's boat and pretends to want to help him capture the mermaid. With this, he manages to get close to Cody and tell him to stay calm. When Cody's mother gets close enough, John raises the net and manages to catch her. However, once the transformation is complete, the mermaids do not survive on the surface and Cody's mother begins to suffocate. Jesse pulls a lever and drops the net into the water, but the mermaid is tangled, and the young man dives in with his father's knife. The boy frees the mermaid, but John, furious, tries to pull the net to make another attempt. This destroys the support and the net sinks, taking Jesse to the bottom. Scared, John jumps into the water but can't see his son. Fortunately, Cody jumps from the boat and dives to the bottom to rescue him. The boy saves Jesse, but he is not breathing, so he asks everyone to let him go and uses his fingers to send an electric shock through his body and revive him. Jesse apologizes to his father, but he tells him that everything is fine. The important thing is that he is safe. Shortly after, Cody's mother returns and signals that it's time to leave. Sarah doesn't want to lose her son, but Cody's transformation is complete. He can't return to the surface. This is his destiny, and he must go with his mother. After a tender farewell, Cody dives into the water and says goodbye to his friends and girlfriend to discover a new world unknown to those of us who were not born in the sea. And that's how this great movie ends. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and thanks.